What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of DC Action Hour. Yeah, right. What's up, everybody? My name is Jeff from Super Geeked Up. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Marx Pyle.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, thank you for being here, of course. And we are super excited. Our special guest tonight, who was already showing you his amazing mental telepathy powers from Supergirl and Alias, among other things, Carl Lumbly. Hello, sir.
Yes, hello. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We were receiving those telepathic things at the beginning. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah, I send them hourly. I'm never sure, so it's good to know.
Okay, great. Yes, it's working excellent.
Yes.
All right. So Carl plays, of course. Oh boy, here we go. Here's my first try. Marin Jones.
Oh,
that's all right, right? That was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
On Supergirl, and of course he played Marcus Dixon on Alias. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff. I played John Jones on the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series. So he's done a whole bunch of cool stuff that we're going to talk to him about in just a little bit. We're very excited to have him on. We're excited that we have some people in the live chat already. Thank you, folks. I see Raisa and Carrie Johnson already in there. Thank you very much for watching. Please, share your thoughts, your questions for Carl. We'll share them during the show. You can also tweet us at Super Geeked Up. All right, before we get to questions for Carl, though, we have our super tweet question. We always like to kick things off with Marx. What is that?
Oh, it is. Who is your favorite Alien character, DC or really any other setting? I expect fictional.
If we knew real aliens, that's actually even more exciting.
Well, my very favorite is John Jones, I must admit, both in the Justice League incarnation and in the Supergirl incarnation. I love what David Harewood is doing, and I love the character. I like the idea of this lone figure who is applying himself to being of use to the universe. So I do like that. I think my second favorite is a character I played called John Parker in a project called The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, and, yeah.
Yeah, John was a Rasta from the 8th dimension. I got to know him personally. We had a lot of fun. Also telepathic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's very cool. Awesome.
That's just.
Okay. Marx, who's your favorite alien character?
Well, my favorite, if I was going to be DC, would be Martian Manhunter, because I think he's always kind of he's my favorite one overall. He's very powerful, has a lot of different abilities, interesting origin. He tends not to get as much attention as I think he should get. But if I was going to broaden past DC, probably one of my other favorite alien characters would be Worf from Star Trek: Next Generation.
He took my answer. That's okay, man. It's a great answer.
I'm sorry. It's just telepathic.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, man. Wow. He's totally linking all of us up together. It's amazing.
Yes, just as I imagined it. Yeah, I think Martian Manhunter is just not a diva, and so many of the superheroes and alien characters are divas. It's all about me and my powers. And I think Martian Manhunter just goes about discorporating and flying, and it's just part of the business of being me.
It's true. You're right. He's probably one of the most humble superheroes around, which is great. So also see our buddy Lister's mate joined us in the chat. And Raisa says her favorite alien is the Doctor from Doctor Who. Excellent choice.
Yes.
And let's see. We do have some questions coming in already. Let me just, before I lose these from the chat, let me share these before we start asking your own questions. Actually, Eros Arocho at Hunter's Realm and Reyes in the chat, they both wanted us to ask you about Mantis, and what about reviving it, what you thought about that.
Mantis was a tremendous amount of fun. And I think especially because that was just a normal human being with a great mind and tremendous imagination. And I thought that was heroic. Reviving it, I would love to see them bring it back, because his guiding principle was don't kill. Stop crime, stop criminals, get it at the source, but don't kill anyone. And I personally love that.
Yeah, those are the heroes I love the most.
Yeah.
So Lister's mate.
You can do a lot of maiming. You can paralyze. All of that is fair game, but no killing.
Nice. Lister's mate has a question in the chat. Why wasn't a sequel to Buckaroo Banzai ever made? They made a promo for it in the movie.
I think Buckaroo Banzai was one of those projects that people were surprised that it was made. People were shocked when it was initially came out, and at first didn't really understand it. But once it gained a cult following, it, I think, became hip to believe that you did understand it. It was, I don't know, it was about as inventive as a film could be, and it was kind of like a stream of consciousness for the time, I think. I don't think that people thought it could be duplicated, and that's probably why, even though the idea of having a sequel sounded good, but once you've been through the eighth dimension, you can't go back, I guess.
Right. Good point. There you go, yeah. Anthony. There's your answer. Thank you, folks. Keep the questions and comments coming. We love hearing from you. We have some of our own questions though, and Marx is gonna kick us off here.
Yes. Alrighty. So it was a perfect casting choice, having you, the voice of the animated Martian Manhunter, play Martian Manhunter's father on Supergirl. Can you tell us a little bit about how you landed the Martian Manhunter voice role in the animated Justice League series?
In the series, the director, Andrea Romano, knew of my work from stage and called me in to do an audition. And when they described the character to me, there was some mention of the fact that he was the last Martian in the universe, and I thought, wow, it's probably pretty lonely, and that you probably lose your ability to really project because you're never talking to anyone, and that it was sad that he had memories of a Mars that no longer existed and memories of the destruction of it. So I kind of saw him as a bit of a war victim and a refugee. And with being the only one, nobody knows his story, and initially he doesn't really want to share his story, but then as he becomes more involved with other beings and hears their stories, sharing his story becomes important. And that's his bond with, I think, the Justice League, is they all have, he realizes, in the way we realize, you read Dostoevsky and you realize, okay, all of the tragedies of the world occur for everybody. Your particular story of pain is not the only one. I was born with very, very small calves. I assumed that no one else, certainly no one else playing basketball in shorts, had calves as small as I do. But you learn that there are other crosses to bear.
Well said. So I read a lot of comics growing up, but I actually never really got into the Martian Manhunter character so much. So for me, the series, the Justice League series, like that was really my introduction to him. And like for me, you're the definitive like Martian Manhunter for me. Like that's how I think of the character because that was really my introduction. So how did you feel then? Obviously, now these years later, getting to play the father of that character that you played back then.
It was very exciting for me. I'm a grown man, all right. Decades and decades of age on me. So, and I was never a comic book individual. I think I was an English major, and I think the way literature plays, the way text plays, the way subtext plays in comic books, I do find interesting. So I was excited because the idea of playing your own child, especially if you've been separated and now you see how this individual turned out. And with all the powers that Jean has, the idea that there's some, crotchety man who thinks he did it better in his day and, thinks, yeah, you can go out and discorporate and fly, but, you've got some stuff behind your ear. That's, I thought that would be interesting. The reunion I thought would be fantastic, meeting, laying claim to your story, this story of pain. I'm the last Martian in the world. And then learning that, in the universe, and then learning that you share that with someone who is actually of your blood. So that was great. And then, he's done well. He's head of the DEO, and people look up to him. Mm-hmm. He's a principled individual. Perhaps he's not as spiritual as I might like, but we can work on that. You leave home, and of course, everybody imagines that your home training stays with you, and maybe it does. It submerges. You need what you need to get through life, but it's still in there. And I recognize him, and love is love. That's family. So I was pretty thrilled. And he's in good shape. So I felt, decent genes. Yeah.
Nice. Mark, do you have another one?
Sure. So how did you approach playing the father? How much of your voice acting with Martian Manhunter did you bring to the role, and what did you bring to the role that would make the performance different? Because most of it's probably, with your voice, at least in the first episode you're in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought it would be fun to use the Jean Jones voice that I'd used in the animation as the father. That might be part of the carryover, and then I listened to I watched 2 seasons to get a sense of David's speech pattern and try and kind of bleed the two together. And I guess what I thought most about was the situation, because Marin, again, had witnessed the destruction of Mars and was on his own, and a very prayerful individual, praying to Haran Mir for the best outcome for the planet, even though things look pretty dire. The white Martians have taken everything, and all of the green Martians have been killed, and it's chaos and destruction, but you can't give way to that. If you're a being of spirit, you cling to faith. And so the fact that clinging to faith actually resulted in the miracle, and now he, quite humbly, is blessed with this reunion with his son. So I think there's something, he's kind of awe-filled in the way I'm doing it. And everything, of course, is new because he's on Earth. He's really grateful. But, a parent is a parent. You never lose that. So he will bring his critical faculties to bear. He can't help that. But I think he's probably, he's going to hold off on discorporating and flying and getting into people's minds as much as possible, because this is all new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the line where Supergirl flies up in the air and he's like, "Do they all do that on this planet?"
Yeah, I know. We're used to doing that on Mars, but of course, in Mars generally, it was for battle. Leisure flying never really seemed. It seemed like too much of an indulgence, maybe. But leisure flight is cool.
Yep. In the chat, we got some questions for people here. Carrie Johnson wants to know, and you kind of touched on this just a second ago, how much can you share about how your character will adjust to Earth and finding a purpose?
I can't share a tremendous amount. Obviously, I can't speak about it, but I can tell you.
Oh yes, Carrie, tune in there. Oh wow, that's really
Focus.
cool. That's actually awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
Yes.
Wow.
Excellent.
And I really, I can't think any more than that.
Man, ooh, this is going to be the best season of Supergirl ever.
Yeah. Never saw that coming.
No. What a twist. Listeners may...
That was my idea, by the way. I know the writers will probably lay claim to it, but that was all.
Excellent. All right, you hear it here first, folks. In the chat, listeners may want to know, Carl, could you explain the makeup/prosthetic process to be made into a Martian and the reversal of the process?
Wow. Yes, it is. Now this is to me one of the most amazing things in this piece, because what it used to be, I'm old enough that when I had alien makeup done, it was a lot of prostheses and glues and mastics, bits of hair and rubber, things attached to you, adhesives and powders blown onto you. This is a very different process because it's computer generated. So literally, it involves reference dots put onto your face and your facial features, and then there's a photo process that involves you being taken from different angles, giving different expressions, horror and pleasure and amusement and inquisical, and all of these are recorded. And then when it comes time to do the Martian overlay, it's all done by computer using your face as the basis. So I had no idea what Marin would look like as a Martian. I was stunned by how he was just as handsome as I had imagined, older, and yeah, the skin line had receded. But that's no big thing. I mean, that happens to all of us as we get older.
Absolutely. In the chat, by the way, Carrie. In the chat, Carrie says message was received that you sent out there. So good, he got it too.
Good.
So what Anthony was just asked you then. So when they do the CG, do you do the voice work before that, or do you actually watch the CG and match the voice to that?
No, I do the voice work, and you have. At that point, you've recorded so many positions for your mouth and your face and your eyes, and that they literally, I don't know how they do it, but they literally piece it together around the dialogue you speak. So
wow, really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. It's pretty magical, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
I believe Martians initially had something to do with it, but I don't know.
Anthony actually had another question about Buckaroo Banzai. I guess he really loves that. He wants to know what was it like working with John Lithgow and Christopher Lloyd.
John Lithgow, who I didn't work with Christopher as much, but John Lithgow, he's just a genius. He's madcap. He's a very loose individual. He's having a tremendous amount of fun, but he's a consummate actor. So it's the combination of being wild and then being able to perfectly act that madness. One of the nicest people, and again, a very humble individual. But boy, and I laugh easily. And you can't really do that on camera in a lot of situations. So especially, when you're playing opposite someone who just cracks you up at just the lift of an eyebrow, or he had a short fuse in that film. So anything could set him off. And I did a lot of laughing and a lot of holding on. It was great fun. Great fun.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, listeners mate. He also says, wow, it's great to know that it's done digitally about the makeup stuff that he asked before. Great. So when you're talking about Marin and Jean and the Martian history and culture and stuff, I mean, to me, you almost sound like an expert on Martian stuff, which makes sense. Back in Justice League, or even now with Supergirl, was there a lot of that, like, history and culture given to you by the writers and producers? Did you develop some of that on your own? Like, how did that work?
Most of it I developed on my own. In some ways, out of my own history. I'm a son of immigrants, and I think it's not. In some ways, I can imagine what it must be like for a refugee, someone who's immigrated someplace because their home is gone. So I think I'm not imaginative enough to come up with things simply out of my head. Most everything that I do as a character is always rooted in something I have some experience with, or I can talk to someone who has an experience of it. So I thought grounding it in this notion of someone coming from another country, another culture, and having to make their way made sense to me. And also, you want to contribute. And I think first Martian Manhunter and now Marin, this idea of being a part of something so large, humanity is so large. And so if you're new to humanity and you examine the principles and you see the way it works in everyday people, perhaps not power mongers and evildoers, but just everyday people, it's very attractive. And so wanting to first be a part of it and then to protect it becomes very, very important. And if you feel you're doing that, it gives you a sense of great self-esteem.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. I always thought that was a cool difference between Martian Manhunter versus Superman, is that Superman was a little baby, so he doesn't really remember the world he left, whereas Martian Manhunter had a family and everything, lost all that culture.
Yeah, I thought so too. I also thought, especially the way it worked out on the Justice League, there were all of these sort of ego battles, and I was teasing a little bit about, Martian Manhunter not being a diva. But yeah, I mean, I guess a Batarang is kind of cool, but you don't discorporate. I mean, as powers go, these are superior cats. And Superman, I'll give it to Superman. The kryptonite thing, I mean, if he had the kind of mind that you would hope he would have, he could develop something that would make him free from the effects of kryptonite, but it's okay. I give him his full super. Hawkgirl, everybody has a little something, but nobody has all of it. So that should kind of limit the kind of ego you have, and it should make you want to work together much, much more. But they succumbed to that stuff, especially Batman and Superman. I think something about the fashion, something about the, Superman a little more gaudy, the red, the blue, and...
You know what? Their mom is the same name. It's pretty impressive. Sorry.
Marx, we'll let that go. In the live chat, Listersmate says, "I'd love to meet John Lithgow. I'll have to watch Buckaroo Banzai on DVD after this show." There you go. So he's inspired now to watch it again.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead. Watch for the line. At a certain point, John Lithgow is addressing his followers, and he's trying to excite them. He says, "When are we going to Mars, or back to the 8th dimension real soon?" And the only thing I can compare it to is footage that I've seen of autocrats from all over the world when they are filled with rage and they're exhorting people to go out and kill. That's John Lithgow. Wait for that moment. Oh.
All right. Also in the chat, Carrie says, based on what you were just saying about the Justice League, says Manhunter should so be the leader of the Justice League.
I don't think so. I don't. I think Manhunter needs to be exactly where he is, because he's, in many ways, he is an everyman. When you can discorporate, when you can literally walk in someone else's shoes, this notion of leadership, I think, gets conflated with being in charge, and that's not the way Martian Manhunter works. He's a listener.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one who counsels them too and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I agree. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Alias, because Marx and I are both big fans of that show. Where you, of course, played Marcus Dixon. Can you just talk a little bit about that experience working on Alias and how it was?
Well, it all begins with Jennifer Garner. That character, I had so much respect for what she did as an actress, just in terms of playing someone who finds out this incredible secret about her father, and who's could go any number of ways. But then what she did as an actress physically, in terms of what that role required, the fact that she truly led by example. I think everyone operated at the top of their intelligence and tried to be a better person just to be working around her. Stellar individual. And so Dixon, who was senior to her, had been in the service, could see that, you know, she's idealistic, but a little bit reckless and a little bit headstrong, and she's kind of got to be careful, because this stuff can affect you greatly. And I think my character felt a sense of wanting to protect her, and then sometimes wanting to be protected, because she did have some superior skills. So it was great. And I think, in light of everything we are now hearing about men who operate on the basis of their lesser angels, and denying a place at the table, an equal spot at the table with women, it was a privilege to be a part of that show. I've had that's the second experience I've had, because I started in television on Cagney and Lacey, and it had a similar feeling to that. I was raised with three sisters. There's this notion of what women can't do, what they're not capable of, has never been a part of my sensibilities, and I don't think it makes any sense at all. So I think it was great that, yes, she was a beautiful individual, a beautiful woman, but she was also very powerful, very smart, had agency, belonged to an agency, and set an example for people, a way to be.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, she's one of my all-time favorite actresses. She's amazing, so yes. Love hearing that.
And then, of course, Spy Daddy, Victor Garber.
Yeah.
And the Madman Ron. I mean, everyone. It was tremendous, and the best part of that is I felt we operated like a theater company, not unlike the same experience I had on the Justice League. Rehearsal was important, having backstories was important, subtext was important. You know, it's not always about what you say; it's sometimes about what you don't say and the way in which you listen. That was a top-level experience.
Awesome. Marx?
Well, we were just wondering if maybe, like, from Alias, you might have had a favorite moment, and also, because we're talking about DC, maybe a favorite moment that you had during Supergirl or Justice League.
During Justice League, I can tell you my favorite moment that I'm stunned to say that this is my favorite moment, but came into work one day, and at the end of our session, Andrea Romano, the director, said, we were shooting we were taping the Christmas episode in which Superman takes Martian Manhunter home to spend Christmas with his Earth family. And she said, so at the end, when we finish all of that, we'll need to do a Martian Christmas song. But just, put that to the back of your head, and then we'll get to it at the end. And so I improvised a Martian Christmas song, which initially was, oh, you must be joking. But now I rather loved that moment, because the episode was truly sweet. And the idea, once again, this immigrant, this refugee being brought home for Christmas, and given a chance to really understand that it's not simply a consumer holiday. That it was lovely. Let me see, Supergirl, and many favorite moments actually, but there was this moment when we share minds, so that Jean Jones can share this memory with Marin that only Jean could have, and Marin realizes, oh my Lord, this really is my son. I loved that moment. I think David is a towering actor, and it was a real pleasure to share the puzzle of that moment with him. There was a moment in Alias. All I remember, we were at an oil derrick, and it's the moment when Sydney explains to Marcus that they have been agents not of the CIA, but of this shadow unit, and that she's known for a while, and he has to believe her because now she has to tell him because something really dire is about to take place. And that was because it was kind of heartbreaking, when you believe you know someone and you assume, because of your relationship, your professional relationship and your personal relationship, that they will always tell you the things that are important as soon as you need to know. To have to play a sense of betrayal that large was challenging, but once again, a joy to do with her.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. In the chat, Retro Outside the Box says, "This is awesome and a great chat." And then he or she says, "Sing it," meaning the Martian Christmas. I was waiting for somebody in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I can have that in my head now.
Yeah. I think Taylor Swift could really do a good version of this.
Well, there you go, Retro. If you weren't here earlier, he's been, by telepathy, he's been communicating to the chat, folks. So hopefully you heard that song.
Yeah. You really don't want to hear it from me right now.
Also in the chat, Carrie Johnson says, "Mr. Lumbly's insights and stories are exceptional. Love this chat."
Oh,
thank you, Carrie.
I've been lucky.
We agree. So you've done both a lot of live action and then also animated series and video games. What do you think are the different challenges between doing the live action stuff versus animated series or video games?
The biggest challenge for me when you don't have everything else to fall back on that you have in live action. It's not to say that live action is particularly easy, but you have cues. You're looking in people's faces, and you have cloaks and the garments. And when you are doing voice, I think it's that's when it's closest to your heart, and that's why I think you have to submerge yourself in a consciousness, and somehow that consciousness is what is being communicated. That's a challenge, because I think it requires the utmost in honesty, And yeah, and it does. It forces you to abandon. You know, sometimes in live action you want to look good, or that's what I've heard other actors say. And it's, you know, that's of no importance and no consequence when it's just your voice. And there's an integrity. There's something you owe an animated character. Okay, going a little far afield now, I know, but there's something you owe an animated character, especially a character who comes out of the comic book tradition. So I take that very seriously, and it's a challenge. It's a pressure that I don't feel in the same way in live action. I mean, Marin is mine. Well, whatever, for better or worse, he hasn't existed before, and whatever I do is what he did. But John was something else, because he had been, especially Martian Manhunter, because he had been in it and then abandoned for a while. And when we did Justice League, he had been reintroduced. So yeah, I felt a different kind of responsibility. It's like you really have to, I keep coming back to this, but you really do have to listen. And a part of that is what defines your character.
Awesome. That's really cool. That's really insightful. I have one last question for you. Is there any, obviously you played a lot of different roles over your career. Is there any kind of role you've always wanted to play that you haven't played yet?
I think I would like to be on a spaceship.
Oh yeah, I want to be on a spaceship.
Yeah. I think that just to be off Earth. And not simply a prisoner inside a rock, like Marin, but actually, you know, to be encountering all of those space problems, you know, having breaches and holes and depleted oxygen sources, and, you know, something is trying to board. Yeah, I think either a captain or a science officer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we got Star Trek and Orville on right now.
Awesome,
so
yeah.
Yes.
If you're listening, folks, put him on the show.
Yeah, Orville is not exactly what I had in mind, but but I wish more power to them, and I you know, I mean, that's funny stuff. No, I imagine, there was an episode of Battlestar Galactica, and one of the characters had been sent out and kind of abandoned after battle, and just was floating around this spaceship for a long time by himself. And I don't know why I find that appealing, but I don't know. I do. It's sort of like writing a diary. It's and being a monk.
Okay. Nice. Let me work one last thing here for the chat. We were just talking about the Orville, which of course is from Seth MacFarlane. Lister's Mate wants to know, Carl, did you like working with Seth MacFarlane when you did your voice in Family Guy?
Never got to actually work with him, but that was fun. It was fun. I suppose you have a sense that he's kind of in the room because everybody else there is operating off the same juice that he pours out. But I never got to meet him. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for the chat. And Carrie is echoing our thing that someone from Star Trek should call you and join the show.
Yeah, I'm available. I can go off world almost at the drop of a hat.
Excellent, awesome. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Carl, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing those awesome insights and those telepathic ones as well.
Yes, absolutely. My pleasure, and I hope I don't see any of that stuff in print.
Yeah, no, it'll be our secret. You can folks, you can follow Carl at Carl Lumbly. That's just his name on Twitter. Of course, you can check him out his IMDb page. You can see all the tons of the plethora of stuff that he has done as well. So yes, thank you again, Carl. Thank you very much. You're an awesome guest. We really appreciate it. We would love you to have that back anytime.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And hopefully we'll see more of Marin on Supergirl as well.
Yes. Okay, I can't say.
Yeah, I know, but we're hoping we will. Have a great night. Thank you. All right, so cool. Thank you guys for the great questions. That was awesome.
That was great.
He had awesome insights. I really love that. So, folks, as you see your screen now, Marx and I we're going to talk about all the latest episodes this past week on the CW. So, CW superhero shows. Not all the CW shows.
No. Ooh, could you imagine how long that would be?
Oh, boy, yeah, I know. But no, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. We're going to kick off with Arrow, and Marx is going to intro that for us.
All right, so this week was episode 5 of season 6, Deathstroke Returns. I'm going to butcher these names, but written by Ben Sokolowski and Spyro Skintzos. Man,
that was amazing. Guys. That was amazing.
And directed by Joe Novoa. So Slade returns to ask a favor of Oliver Queen, his help on saving his son's life. But a surprise twist awaits them. Meanwhile, Vigilante returns to Star City, trying to assassinate the politician behind the anti-Vigilante bill. I think he took a little personal. When Black Canary unmasks Vigilante, she is shocked to learn it is her ex-partner. So there's some couple good storylines going on here. And of course we got the return of Slade, which is, I think we already had a past episode where we talked about how that was one of our favorite characters. Were you happy to see Slade back, Jeff?
Sorry, I'm just trying to finish these adjustments here.
Oh, sorry. Screen. I will just continue talking.
Why don't you tell folks what you thought about Slade returning?
All right. So I thought the return of Slade was pretty darn cool. So it was nice to see a Slade that wasn't quite so crazy. Get a little more time with him. Plus, we got a flashback. Sometimes we've talked about how we don't always like the flashbacks in the shows, or they were getting a little tiresome, I guess I should say. But what they have done usually good is flashbacks of particular characters besides Oliver. Like with Wild Dog, for example, was an excellent episode, a flashback.
Yeah.
This flashback was pretty good too, and allowed us to see a little bit of his relationship with his son. And I think that worked fairly well.
Yeah, sorry, I'm ready now. Slade is, obviously, as we've said, one of my absolute favorites. I love Manu Bennett. He's great. So I was excited. It was great to see, a fairly Slade-heavy episode. Get some backstory in his son and, get to see him kicking some ass.
Yeah. I love the reference where he's like, oh, the Terminator, And a lot of people would think that means you're talking about the Terminator movie, but Slade or Deathstroke, when he originally was around as a bad guy and stuff, he was called Deathstroke the Terminator. So that's a nice little nod to that.
Well, who says the Terminator in the show? Does he say it?
Oh, his contact who ended up working with the Jackals. That guy's like, oh,
that's right.
My friend.
The
Terminator,
That's right.
So that was a nice little reference. So, and I had a little Taken flashbacks because he's like, they didn't realize whose father they that his son or whatever I'm trying to say, like a little Taken thing, going after the Jackals. So, what did you think about the little twist there about his son?
It's great. That was a really cool twist actually, because it was really cool, right? Because the whole thing, he thought the son, well, first was a prisoner, then he thought his son was dead, and then to find out that his son is actually the one behind all of it, and obviously then he's it looks like he's probably gonna have to go up against his son. It's good dramatic stuff.
It is. I'm looking forward to learning a little more about his son and see how tough he is compared to his father and all that good stuff. I'm assuming he saw his father kill that guy. I kind of allude to that.
And
so that must have.
You think that kind of set him down the wrong path?
Probably so. He misunderstood what his dad did, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe.
Wait, misunderstood. I guess at that point, I guess you're right. Wait, at that point, Slade was actually working for like the special forces or something, right?
Australian special
New
ops,
Zealand, actually, I think. Oh, well, he actually is New Zealand, I think. But was it Australian for the character?
I think it's supposed to be Australian, yeah.
Okay.
So they do some dirty stuff, I guess, but it's, in theory, for a good reason and stuff. The guy pulled a knife on him first, or tried to stab him before he slit his...
After he like put the gun to his head or knife to his throat, saying, "I'm going to kill you if you don't tell me." Wow, you're very forgiving. Okay. Go ahead.
And there was a good tie-in that he was looking for. It was basically tying into how he would get involved to going to that island to Purgatory, and because that's person that told him about it. So that's a nice.
Well, yeah, it was he was looking for the dude. What's his name? The dude that was originally there that trained Oliver, right? Kind of.
That's correct. Yeah, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head.
So that's how basically we saw how he wound up going to that island, right? In the first place. In the chat, let me share some stuff here. Eros Orocho, hey Eros, our good buddy. He says, "Has the Mantis question been asked?" Yes, Eros, you just missed Carl. I did ask that very early on. Actually, your Mantis question. He had an awesome answer. So don't worry. Go back and watch the whole show, beginning after this is over, and you'll see a great interview with Carl. Actually, that's one of my favorites. What we've done in terms of even all the shows I do when we interview people. So he was really cool. So I
forgot he did Mantis. Mantis was
I did too. Actually,
pretty cool show back in his whenever it came on.
Was he Mantis?
I have to double check, but I think he might have been.
That's not, folks. It was like a superhero type show, right?
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair. He built a suit, exosuit. He shot darts that knocked people out.
Yeah, I totally remember watching it back at the time. I don't recall too much because all that's like one season, right?
Yeah, it was on Fox.
It was probably one of the.
It was around that time where they were making a lot of genre shows, but they were also axing them really fast if they weren't doing great. I thought it was a pretty good show. Actually, there weren't very many good superhero shows yet created, and that was a pretty good one. That was original. So. Hey,
well, now's the time to bring it back.
Yes.
Also in the chat, Stormy Woods. Hey, Stormy, thanks for joining us. Says Yao Fei, I think, is the one who trained Oliver. Yeah, that sounds like the right name. Thank you, Stormy. Stormy also says, "I totally think Joe saw Slade kill that guy in the woods. The relationship was already strained. Now find out Dad is a killer." Yeah, I bet that's the way they're going to go with it. And
maybe that guy was just the airlines, and he was mad that he didn't get free tickets all this time.
Oh, that's what made his son go bad.
He's like, "My son tells me I'm supposed to get free tickets. Why don't I?"
And Carrie in the chat says, "This episode could have been called The Return to, Electric Boogaloo with the return of Slade, Vigilante, and Slade's kid." Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
For a little while, I was wondering if they were going to make his son be Vigilante. I was like, that would have been kind of convoluted, but it would have been interesting.
But well, that's a good segue, though, right? We finally found out who Vigilante was.
We did. I was wrong, I guess. Unless they just made that up later.
Yeah, what was your theory again?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's the guy that's in charge of the police force. And he was kind of, confrontational.
I know who you mean. Yeah. He disappeared, kind of.
Yeah, because he got stabbed, and then Vigilante disappeared around the same time, and it all kind of made sense, and it would have been interesting. But, maybe too many people are guessing it and they decide not to do that. Maybe they always want to do this. Who knows? Maybe they'll tell us sometime.
In the chat, Carrie says, "Mantis incorporated time travel, so it could be part of the multiverse if we can navigate TV rights." That'd be sweet.
Cool. So what'd you think of Vigilante's identity and his tie to Black Canary?
I liked it. It actually made, because last season I don't really know why Vigilante was there. He just popped in for a second, shot people. Then we saw him 5 episodes later. He did the same thing, right?
Yeah, it was a little random.
So it was nice again. So it's nice to see there's actually multiple things from last season they're paying off now, like with Kate and James and Vigilante. So there is reason behind, or whatever, rhyme behind the reason, whatever the hell you say it. Actually, I think it's really cool because it's a good thing for Dinah's character, right? It's good tension and conflict for her character, and it works back to her origin story we saw a little bit of last season as well.
Because we were talking about just an episode or two ago about how they really need to do something more of her because she was starting to become kind of a one-note character. Even though we like her, they weren't doing a whole lot with her, and this might be good.
Carrie in the chat says, when Vigilante took off his helmet, I knew he had to be connected to Dinah. Yep, absolutely. And Lister's Mate says, it was good to see Dinah with a bit more depth. In the past, she just seems to stand around looking pissed at everyone. Yeah, so that's what you're saying, Marx, as well. And then Stormy says, I think Joe and Slade is supposed to be the other side of the coin to William and Oliver. Oliver told William as much of the truth as the kid could handle. Interesting. That's an interesting take on that.
It is.
Yeah, so I think this is good for her character. There was some good, like in the beginning, I wasn't exactly sure why she was so kind of adamant about taking him down and killing him if need be. Like particularly, this was not only her partner but her lover, right? And I don't know. I expected more of that conflict in the beginning, but it was mostly like, no, he's definitely evil. There's no evil. Let's take him down. And then, luckily though, at the end, they paid off more what I was looking for with her, like questioning that and seeing that maybe they're still good letting him go. You know.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of anger and feelings of betrayal. And then also, I would think it was subtext there. Like, even though she was saying that he must die, blah, blah, she was also trying to convince herself that, that this is not this person she knew or something. That's the way I kind of took it, sort of, kind of.
Makes sense. In the chat, Carrie wants to know, since everyone is getting a personal villain, who will be the character for Curtis and Wild Dog, their villain? I don't think they're going to get, yeah, they're probably not going to get one, actually, those two.
I wouldn't count it out. Well, I mean, Onyx, it could be a Curtis villain. She's got balls too. They just blind you.
Wait, was Onyx the one from a couple episodes ago, right?
Yeah. We were thrilled
with that cool fight, though, right? Yeah.
It was a cool fight, yeah. And I looked her up to try to figure out what character she was, and her character is actually very cool. She's a little different. So there's potential there maybe with her character. Maybe we just need a little more of her. See a little more of her. I think it's going to be interesting because Vigilante apparently heals really fast. He's going to be really tough to kill or hurt.
Oh, yeah, that's his power, right? Kind of like Wolverine?
Yeah. Or he's sort of like a more serious version of Deadpool when you think about it. Lots of guns. Got a little scar.
Yeah. But I mean, the power was bad.
Yeah, with the power. I mean, I don't know we don't know yet how good his regeneration is. Although if he survived a gunshot to his head, then that's probably going to be pretty good. So,
yeah.
So it'll be interesting. That makes Vigilante way more interesting, and I think we see that he's just mentally unstable. So.
Yeah, because what is, I'm trying to remember he doesn't want them to do that vigilante law, obviously, right? That's why he doesn't like the cops.
Well, he sees her as corrupt and wants to stop it. I think he has to be a little bit mentally unstable because it doesn't make a lot of sense unless he's got some bigger game plan we haven't seen. And I think that's probably what it is. I think he meant well and of his little vigilante quest, but perhaps trauma from the original shot to his head has messed him up somehow, and he's not quite thinking completely straight. So because he got more unstable as they fought him last season, where he was starting to just blow everybody up and who cares about collateral damage. And now he should know that if he kills this woman, for the anti-vigilante bill is going to happen. So unless maybe he just wants to declare war against the city, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's kind of like Punisher in a way, right?
Well, I felt like, so one thing they need to be careful about on this show is I feel like they watch Daredevil or the Marvel and Netflix shows, and I think they kind of like cribbed some notes from it sometimes. Because I feel like last season, what little they did of Vigilante felt very much like what I just saw with Punisher and Daredevil. I mean, a different take, but similar theme going on with the characters. And then their FBI agent, Watson, it just feels so much like a clone of Misty Knight from Defenders and And yeah,
There's
so much.
I haven't seen
She
Defenders.
looks like her almost exactly. Very close to her. Similar hairstyle in a lot of ways too.
Oh, I like Misty Knight from the comics, but what is she an FBI agent in the show?
In the show, she's a cop, but she's constantly, she's got kind of a one note thing going where she's constantly like getting in the way of everything.
Trying to find the vigilantes and the heroes and stuff.
Yeah, that Luke Cage is trying to do, and then later with Defenders. Eventually, she kind of changes her tune a little bit, but she's very much just like, it's just like constantly like, oh, I know what logically would make sense, but I am the law and I have to get in your way every time. And stuff.
She's Judge Dredd. Awesome.
Well, maybe not.
I'm the law.
And it just to the point where you're just like, oh my gosh, come on, And I feel like that Watson's becoming that way a little bit too much. We're just getting kind of like, we already don't want to like her anyway because we like Team Arrow. It's more interesting when you have a law figure against them that you can more understand their perspective and see them as a human being and stuff. And they haven't quite done that yet.
Yeah, kind of like Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive.
Exactly, that's an excellent version of that, and where you're totally on board because there's some good arguments there. Being a vigilante plus Green Arrow kills people still, from time to time, and that's kind of crossing the line that Mantis would not cross.
That's right. He would only maim them.
Yes. So I mean, there's some questions there. I can definitely understand, but they're making her unfortunately a little annoying. She's smart. I mean, she's figuring it out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, well, I think there's so many between Marvel and DC similarities in the comics. Like I don't know. I think it's gonna happen. The Carrie though says, speaking of, I can't wait till the FBI agent Watson, right, interviews Curtis. He'll spill all the secrets. By the way, her character is really good for the show, so he really likes her. That will be probably amusing to see Curtis being interviewed if they show that.
It would be, yeah.
I agree with you. I told you, I said this the other week or whatever. I know you guys had liked her at the time, but I found her annoying from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she is good for the job. I don't know. Like I said, I guess I've just seen that character too many times. It's just like, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. She's going to get these guys, or that's her, whatever. She's going to keep questioning them. I don't know.
I think you just have a scene or two where we see a little bit more about her personal life. And if there's some bigger reason why she's so hard on the vigilantes, I don't know. It's just something to make us go sympathize with character a little bit more.
That's what we need. You're right. She's just like a kind of a hard ass right now.
Yeah, and she gets some funny lines, and she's delivering her lines well and stuff. I want to like her. It's just that they just need to do something like that to really make us be like feel conflicted when we see her, and not instantly go, "Oh my gosh, just get her out of there!" Why is she back in this episode?
Right. Although I love how her interview with Felicity lasted basically 30 seconds.
That was funny, yes.
Which is like, why call you in to begin with? And it made no sense, really. But
hopefully they'll do something like that, and they got potential there for a character. So, and why are the police so bad in this city? Their job.
Well, because Green Arrow and his team wouldn't have anything to do if they were good.
Oh, okay.
I guess. I mean, I guess that's another kind of trope, right? That when you have a superhero show, the police need the superhero to save the day, right? Well, either they're bad, or I guess it's a villain who's beyond their scope and their capability. Like in Flash, that makes sense. A lot of the Flash villains, the Central City PD is just not necessarily capable of defeating them.
Yeah, it's metahumans,
The Arrow is more like down to earth, though, right? That you think the police could, particularly supposedly they have, right, this special task force, right, or this. I think didn't they have an anti-vigilante one at one point, or don't they have like special police now to take care of these like type of villains?
They did, because remember that one cop / turned villain. She was from that group. They were actually pretty tough.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they just got rid of that group or I don't know what's going on there, but
yeah,
that was kind of cool and it makes complete sense. But yeah, the cops They need to work on that a little bit.
Carrie in the chat, Carrie says the cops are bad because the good ones all have been killed or left town. Right.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, so the only good cops, and I don't mean good by like not corrupt. I mean good as in effective, are the ones who are part of Team Arrow, Quentin and who's not a cop anymore, I guess, and Dinah. So basically, you can be a cop and be effective if you're also part of Team Arrow.
Well, yeah, that makes complete sense.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. They could certainly have a cop character who is also effective, and that necessarily wouldn't take away from Team Arrow, you know.
That's what they need. Your favorite character from Flash that she left, you know, she needs to join the show.
Oh, Patty Spivot?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, there you go. Well, first off, that show, Joe is obviously a cop on the show, obviously, and he's a huge part of it.
Because he's part of Team Flash.
Yeah. But Patty was as well, and Patty was portrayed as very good at her job, I feel. You know?
She was, yeah. Even Julian was decent at his job. He just wasn't very likable.
He was just an asshole, yeah.
Yeah.
But even who is Joe's partner who was gonna marry Iris?
Oh yeah. He was. Yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? It's driving me nuts. Help me on the chat, folks. You can't think of it either.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't think
All
of
right.
it.
Anyway, but you know, yeah, actually, cops are portrayed much better on Flash, I guess, as effectiveness wise, anyway.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I guess Quentin was, and now, of course, he was an alcoholic, and you know, I don't know. But no, I understand. And plus, the cops, they've lost a lot of cops. It's part of the, you know, that's one of the things this season is about, them having that money to try to rebuild the police force. So.
Oh, that's right. You're right. There you go. Then it'll be much better if they don't give it to Anatoly. In the chat, Lister's Mate says, I couldn't understand the storyline with how it fit in with the Felicity crossover on The Flash and Curtis's appearance on Legends. Did this episode happen before or after their appearances? Question mark. Makes sense. Makes sense, question mark. Excuse me. So, oh, by the way, Stormy in the chat says Eddie is the name of the guy we're trying to think of.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Stormy. Okay, so... No, Felicity went to The Flash first because she mentions in this Arrow episode, she references the bachelorette party. So this is it. So she went to the bachelorette party in The Flash, then she's in the Arrow episode this week. Listeners, mate. Curtis on Legends, I don't really know. That was almost like it could have happened anytime, I feel, from what I remember. I don't think that was...
Is that a pun about time travel?
No, it wasn't actually. So, yeah. But, you know, it's interesting to try to keep track of all that stuff when they do all these crossovers. Mm-hmm. And then Carrie says, Arrow had that police task force, but they were killed, right? I don't remember what happened to them.
Did they all die? Did the Dark kill them all or something?
That would suck. Speaking of Damien Dark, folks, we're going to talk about him later when we get to Legends. And another dark character who I actually like. A relationship with Damien Dark is what I mean by that. I'm not making puns. That's your thing. That's your deal.
Yeah. You can't even help yourself anymore.
You're a bad influence. All right, is that everything with Flash? I mean, Arrow? Boy, I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
What I'm talking about. All right, so I guess we're going to rate it, right? Out of 4 boxing glove arrows would be the highest score we could give it. I think I'm going to give it 3 boxing glove arrows. I think it was a pretty solid episode.
I'm going to give it... it's got Slade in it. I'm going to give it at least 3.25. I'd say.
Cool. It did. You know what? I kind of almost would have wanted a little bit even more of Slade. But the Dinah stuff was good, too.
It was good. I could have used more Slade. I guess we'll have more Slade, right? Next episode, so...
Yeah.
I loved the fight scene when he was going through the jackals.
Yeah.
And I love the music because it's got that nice chaotic beat going and stuff with while he was fighting and such. It was a good choice.
That was well done. Wait, was that an actual song? I don't remember. Was it score?
Score.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've heard it before. I don't remember. I don't know if that's actually Slade's theme or not, but I've heard it before, and it was great for that fight scene.
Yeah. They're really on top of their game with fights this season, I feel.
I think so too, yeah. They did a good job. Because that fight, a lot of it was almost, or felt like a one-shot.
One-shot?
I don't know if it was, yeah.
There was some cool slow-mo stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
In the chat, before we move on, Stormy says, Adrian Chase killed several cops last season. Yes, he did. That's right. And Arrow says, Sorry I'm missing most of the conversation because my mom keeps showing me stuff on TV and her iPad and annoying the bejesus out of me. Okay.
Who's that?
His mom.
Okay.
Where is Barry altering the timeline when I need him? Oh, okay. That's funny. All right. Just tell her, come on, you're trying to watch DC Action Hour. It's important stuff. All right. So now we, folks, we're going to move on to The Flash, which we were just speaking of. All right. So this episode is called Girls' Night Out. It's the 5th episode of Season 4, written by Lauren Kurtzerto and Kristen Kim, directed by Laura Belzi. I had a lot easier pronunciations than you did on Arrow.
Yes.
In this episode, Barry and Iris have their respective bachelor/bachelorette parties, which leads to Barry getting super drunk in a strip club, and Iris and the Team Flash ladies saving the day. Plus, Killer Frost returns. All right. So, interesting enough, I'm going to open this because we usually look at IMDb to get all the information. This is by far the lowest rating I've ever seen a Flash episode get in IMDb. It was like 5.9.
Oh, really? Was it?
And usually they're up in like in the 8s, maybe sometimes 9 sometimes. Just to put that out there, I was a little surprised by that because they're usually pretty consistent. All right, let's actually start with Killer Frost. Most people seem to really dig Killer Frost. I certainly do as well.
Yeah.
So we got to see a little bit of Caitlin's past, right? About what she'd been doing, how she'd been Frost, kind of coming back to haunt her again. What did you think about all that storyline?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I'm glad we finally got the backstory where she'd been and who this character was that we kept hearing about, and why the guy had a glass eye. So that was good. So and get a good clear image of how the Caitlin Killer Frost relationship is right now. So it's good.
It was well done, and it was interesting. I kind of like that. I feel when she was Killer Frost in this episode, she was a little bit like, I don't know, like Iris. I think Iris was kind of getting through to her somewhat, right? She wasn't kind of like all bad Killer Frost. It seemed like she was working a little bit, more towards having a balance or finding the Caitlin while she's still a Killer Frost.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like she's got a little bit of a good side of her still now. Compared to last season where she was like all evil completely, she's definitely a lot better now, and it'll be interesting to see if they eventually just like merge those personalities somehow together. I don't know.
I definitely would. I don't want them to get rid of the Killer Frost. I think that's great. I think it would be cool if she could almost maybe she'll get to a point where she can turn on a command, right, when she really needs it.
That would be great. Yeah, it'd be nice to have another meta on the team.
We don't have enough of them.
Yeah, we do have a lot of metas compared to when we first started the show.
Yeah. Carrie in the chat says, I may be alone, but I like this app. Dibs is my new favorite character. # Barney Stinson. So Ralph Dibney. He's talking about. No, you're not alone, sir. It's not my favorite episode, but I think it was okay. I mean, that's. And I'm sure plenty of people like this episode. Don't worry about IMDb. There's a lot of kooky ratings in there.
Go to IMDb and score it with.
There you go. Give it a 10, 9 or 10. You
Yes.
can help it out. All right. So let's see. Oh, all right. Hey, let's talk about the villain then. Amunet, also known as I looked up some information online, Blacksmith is the villain's name as well. This is an actual villain from DC. Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica fame played her for folks who like BSG. What did you think of Katie there as the villain?
I thought she did a pretty good performance. I didn't even, honestly, it took me a second to recognize who she was at first. I thought she did pretty good. It's her power is kind of weird in a way, but it's visually kind of cool and different than what we've seen before. Her morphing the metal that's on her gauntlet. It's a very specific power because she can only morph certain metal, but I thought that made her uniquely interesting in a way. And the accent wasn't too bad. And what do you think of the character?
I like the accent a lot, actually. I think she did a really good job with the character. The character is cool in terms of her kind of running whatever kind of, I don't know, drug ring, I guess is what she was doing basically, right?
But she runs an underground network of arms and stuff like that.
Okay. But they were doing like that love drug, the club and stuff. That was part of her stuff.
Yeah, because the Weeper. Yeah, that was a new thing, new item.
Yeah. So anyway, but she was cool as like kind of like the head of that. But she was pretty badass, and I liked the way she was playing it. The whole thing with, I did think it was really goofy that she carried around a bucket of metal with her. I was just like, everywhere she goes, she has to carry around this bucket. Because I'm like, well, she's like Magneto, but Magneto doesn't have to carry around a fucking bucket.
Well, that's because apparently she can only control a certain type of metal, right? That's how they were able to track her.
Yeah. And
once they caught it with the magnet, she didn't have a whole lot of options. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked up online, I think it said she's able to blend metal and human, like organic stuff together, is what her power actually is from the comics. And that's, I guess, how she makes it go over her hand and like forms around her body in the comics. I think her whole body sometimes becomes it. I don't know. Yeah, it was a weird limitation.
It was strange, but I liked the look in general. Like when she made a shield and she shot the blast, that was kind of cool. She just needs to get more metal and wear it all the time. She's just make it part of her costume.
She really needs one of her henchmen to carry the bucket instead of her. Like, why does she have to carry?
Well, yeah, she should. Yeah.
Carrie wants to know: does the character have that accent, or did Katie just come up with that? I actually don't know because I didn't know this character before here, and also in a comic book, I guess we don't really know usually the accents, right?
Not usually,
unless they
specifically from the
well, sometimes you do. Like with Gambit, obviously they put in the Cajun and the French phrasing, so you know. But and with Rogue and stuff, sometimes they do, but a lot of times you don't know because she was doing basically kind of like a British-esque accent, right?
Yeah, upper class British kind of accent. Yeah, I don't think that's her real accent. I could be wrong, but I've never ever heard her have an accent and anything else. I can't remember if she's American or Canadian, but.
In the chat, Carrie says, going back to also other stuff in this episode, I'm glad Felicity asked the question, why does her meta power make her a murderous psycho about Killer Frost? I think we've all kind of had that question.
Yeah.
Even Daniel Panabaker, more or less, when I was at DragonCon, kind of had that question of the writers.
Yeah.
Arrow says, maybe she becomes snow and we see the attraction for fire. Tell me more about what that means. I'm not sure. And he says, potential Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern? That'd be interesting if he shows up. All right, Eros, tell me more about your
like ice and fire. Is that what he's talking about?
Is that a character?
Those are two DC characters. Yeah.
Oh,
ice
maybe.
Has freezing powers, and fire can turn into a green fire person, kind of like a green version of Human Torch, I guess. She's from Brazil. So
interesting. Listeners Mate in the chat says this episode of The Flash had a perfect combo of comedy and drama. Ralph Dibny is great comic relief. Katie Sackhoff's British accent seemed a bit forced, though, and very unbelievable. Oh, I actually dug it. I actually like the accent a lot. But all right. Thank you, everybody. Those are different things. That's cool. All right. So let's see. Yeah, sorry. My next note is girl power. All right. So this episode is called Girls Night Out, right? Very much about... so the guys in The Flash are basically not doing anything. They're just... trying not to have Barry tell everybody that he's the Flash because he got super drunk from
I love that. I love the part where Joe's like, I'm a cop, and he gets knocked over, and then you see Barry Rapping going, I'm the Flash. It is hilarious.
Right. From Cisco's little cocktail there. That was a little bit too powerful. So anyway, yeah, they're just kind of, I don't know, getting into bar fights, and while the ladies of Team Flash plus Felicity are actually saving the day. I love, how every show we talk about, we want a Birds of Prey show back, right? So obviously you and I are all about, definitely having these kick-ass female characters, and we love that. This a little bit felt to me like some of the Supergirl writers had came over from last season. Just because on multiple occasions, I would say 3 or 4 times, #feminism was said on the show as a line. And again, folks, I'm 100% behind that. I am a feminist. So I'm cool. I love that message. Again, I just much prefer when it's done more subtly. And I think I'll say this a million times, I think it's more effective to get that message across. It was not subtle at all. Here.
No. And then it was one thing when it was in the storyline with the girls' storyline, but then it got introduced in the guy storyline whenever
her
Joe's
daughter.
soon to be daughter-in-law or whatever, stepdaughter, appeared on the strip stage and stuff and talked about feminism and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, really? Come on. It's gonna be a little much.
Because I think, here's the thing, if they just did the episode the same way and just showed, Iris and Caitlin and everybody saving the day and kicking ass, that's all you need to do. Just have all those characters save the day, and then you're showing that girls can rock and kick ass. You don't need to tell us what they just did and that it's feminism. Just show us what they're doing.
I agree. Yes.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that was like season 2 Supergirl. They were just like nailing you over the head with what they were trying to say, and they overdid it on this one.
And it's funny that Supergirl's gotten better, I think, about it this season, and then the Flash though doesn't help.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think it worked. I think that story worked fine with what was going on with all them saving the day and stuff.
Yeah. And the guy's side was hilarious, really funny. Do you think the dude with the finger in the prison cell, you think that was Kevin Smith?
Oh,
with the hat?
He was like against the wall or something, or
he kept walking around the cell, but he had his face hidden, and he had that big finger.
Do you think it was Kevin Smith?
I feel like that was Kevin Smith. I just feel like he's been directing some different episodes. So he's probably in an area. It just looks totally like what Kevin Smith would wear. I'm curious to see.
I did notice that guy. That'd be awesome if it was. Yeah, I think actually last week Supergirl he directed it. Actually, so yeah, he does he does a few of the Flash and Supergirl each season now.
I just feel like if anybody finds out if it was, let us know.
It was a great cameo. Yeah. In the chat, Carrie says, "Is Drunk Barry better than Drunk Caitlin?" I don't know. I really like Drunk Caitlin actually. She was funny.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I'm the Flash.
It was. I don't know. I guess I didn't find that as amusing as you did.
Oh,
it was. Yeah, it was okay. But I'm just like, all right, these guys are just going to be idiots.
Or the. It's like, what did you just do? I got peanuts off the bar. You didn't leave, or did I? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that just didn't play as well with me. The whole fact that, it's just ridiculous that they even went there in the first place. Why would they listen to Ralph? Like, this is a guy who just came in their lives, who Barry before this thought was a total idiot. But obviously, they had to get him there for the story. I actually liked that both Barry and Iris were going to have these low-key, nice, just dinner with friends parties and not like the traditional strip club type stuff. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Of course, that wouldn't be enough drama for TV.
No.
Else.
I'm not sure why all of them were being secretive about it at the end. Maybe the guys because they were a strip club. But, I'm not sure why the girls didn't want to admit they saved the day. That's a cool thing.
I think they were just afraid, they would get mad,
they didn't call us.
Pregnant, mother of my child, who sent her on danger.
They actually did try to get a hold of them. That's right. But their phones were off because of the strip club.
Yeah. It makes for a funny story that we know that what really happened. So, but I do have to say, logic moment, say what? Whenever they let Blacksmith or
get away,
Amunet get away, I didn't get that. I was like, okay, you go, and then Watchman comes in and is like, cops are coming, and I'm like, well, what's the point? And they just left. It's like, why couldn't you just freeze him there? You don't have to kill him.
Right, because it was Killer Frost was about to look like she might kill her, and Iris was appealing to her right humanity and whatever.
Yeah. But that's nice, but still can restrain them.
Right. Yeah, it's like come on, Mantis, he wouldn't have let her go.
No. He'd have tranked that woman right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, that made no sense. It's either kill her or let her go. Well, no, guys, there's other options in those two extremes.
Especially freezing powers. She can restrain people with those powers.
Just restrain her, knock her out. Whatever.
Yeah, because now it's now she wants to get revenge. Now she's free to get revenge. So she's not gonna let that go. So
because at that point, she basically had no power. Caitlin could have easily taken her out and just restrained her.
Yeah, I mean, Iris Kid just punched her out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something. Not just let him walk away. That was a really weird choice.
And I don't know why. I was a little weird that the Weeper just ran out too. First, I was like, well, nice gratitude that guy has. He's like, get away from me. Ah.
He was hungry. See how skinny he was? He's like, get away from me. I gotta get a burger.
He was going to Big Belly Burger.
Gotta go to Big Belly right now.
He runs into Harrison Wells there.
If I don't get Big Belly in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna cry.
Now that would have been hilarious if the end scene was him going to Big Belly, and that's when the Thinker gets him. Before that, I would have died at that. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I guess because he'd been mistreated so bad, he just was like, forget everybody, I hate everybody, or something.
I don't know, but I think, again, it would have been nice if they tried to say, like no, it's okay, we want to help you, we'll take you to the paramedics or something, you know, and they just let him run off.
They really didn't accomplish much. They let the hostage person, like, run off with has metahuman powers, and they let the evil metahuman woman go away free. That was not very efficient. They're gonna have to do better next time. If they're gonna be birds of prey someday, they're gonna have to be better.
Well, you know, that's their first mission together. They're learning. In the chat, Carrie says the bachelor party setup reminded me of the bachelor party F from Smallville when Clark got drunk. Hashtag the Hangover. I don't remember that one.
I don't remember either.
I remember Clark on Red Kryptonite. Those are always really good episodes.
Yeah.
They handle that really well. And Lister's Mate says, I found it funny that Ralph Dibny dressed like Craig Brady from the Brady Bunch. Oh, did he? Okay, that's funny. What are you thinking of? Carrie says the Weeper dude was so tragic. Yes, he was. Particularly that he got away and then he got captured again immediately. Like, that guy can't get a break.
No, he can't. That's why he's so sad.
Yes. What did
And there is a villain named the Weeper too, by the way, in DC Comics.
So his tears they were using to make the drug, but what exactly I missed it. Did the tears do?
They didn't really say. They make you feel love or something. It
makes you feel good. Really, euphoric.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, I guess. They really didn't explain it. I'm sure we'll learn more about it as the Thinker manipulates it to do whatever he's trying to do.
What are you thinking about Dibny? How are you liking him this second episode with him?
I like him. I've always liked him in the comic books. I always think he's a good supporting character in Justice League and such. And I think they're doing a pretty good job with him overall. So I don't know. We'll see. He's a very different personality than any of the other teammates. So he can get him in trouble a little bit. He could be kind of comedic relief, but he can also be a hero and stuff. So he's an interesting addition. Much better than Julian. Yeah,
I was just thinking he's kind of the Julian this year, except he's funny and comedic rather than just being an asshole all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little better combo, I think. Yeah. Well, I grew to like Julian much better, but still.
Yeah, no, yes, but he was still not that great. It looks like he's going to stick around for a while. Seems like, right, Dibny?
Maybe. Well, he's part of DeVoe's plan, so we'll have to see what that is.
Carrie in the chat tells us about the Smallville. He says Zatanna put a magic spell on the champagne in Smallville to get Clark drunk. The ep was called Fortune. Oh yeah, I do remember Zatanna in that show. They did a really good job with her in Smallville. That was great. Now it's coming back. Thank you, Carrie. And the Hall House, I think is a new viewer. Thank you for watching. He says, do you think they're going to let Firestorm be just one person? Hey, just a few minutes. We're going to talk about that because we're going to go to Legends of Tomorrow in just a minute. Short answer, yes. But we'll get into more. We can get to more depth.
Spoiler.
Yes. So, okay. Here's I'm going to thank Lister's Mate for reminding me of this earlier today because I would have forgot to mention it. I totally caught it when they did the show because I was kind of blown away. Felicity makes an Incredible Hulk mention in this episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the is going on? I don't know if I've ever heard Marvel or DC make a reference to the opposing person's characters. Like they reference their own other characters all the time. Like, so I don't know.
It's rare.
Like, yeah. I can't think of another time. It very well may have happened. I just can't think of it. So, like, I don't know. Listeners may want to know, like, if they had to pay Marvel a bunch of money to do that. They didn't have to pay anything. Like, they can just do it, I'm sure. Obviously, anybody can mention it. But it was very interesting to reference your rival.
Yeah, you can make mentions of pop culture references as long as she's not going, oh, the Incredible Hulk, that over in that one New York City that acts like he's a fictional character in that universe. That's where they would get in trouble.
Or if they really like disparage of something like, oh, the Incredible Hulk, man, the Flash could totally kick his ass.
Yeah, that could potentially get in trouble too. But to mention them is fine. Although you usually don't hear that because they don't want to like remind people that there's another comic book universe out there necessarily.
Yeah. See, I actually think it would be fun if they did it more often, though. If they just kind of were more like, hey, we got both cool characters, and we're both just trying to, make some good stories.
Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in it. The fans know, of course. I hope someday, it'll never happen, but someday they could have a crossover like they did in the comic books. So,
yeah,
it would make like $1 billion or something.
Yeah,
Avengers versus Justice League.
I was talking about that with Anthony. Amalgam in the 90s, I guess. I remember reading that was the Marvel and DC together. That was cool. Oh, you're right.
They're gonna bring it back. Remember Amalgam, where they had them merged together?
Well, yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh yeah. Well, they're gonna do Amalgam again soon.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think so. I heard something about that. But they also did a crossover just straight up where they were fighting each other and people voted who would win and stuff, which got kind of weird results sometimes.
When, in the original Amalgam?
No, it was either before or after Amalgam. They did like a straight up crossover between the universes, and they had certain characters fight each other. Do you remember that?
Not really. Before Amalgam, you said?
I can't remember if it was before or after. It was right around that time because that was around the time whenever they were friendlier to each other for that stuff.
Interesting.
I don't remember, but I remember like Wolverine versus Lobo, for example, Batman versus Captain America, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of stuff. And then people actually could vote, and on those votes that influenced who would win.
Sweet, nice. In the chat, Carrie says, maybe Felicity plants the seed for the crossover all crossovers. Maybe this was it. That's right. Maybe her Incredible Hulk reference was the seed.
Could be. You never know.
So last thing before we move on is, all right, so you probably have a little bit different feeling than me, but my note, I wrote to myself, why is Flash not very good so far this season? I really feel Flash has not been that great. It's by far the worst start they've ever had. I feel this is like an Arrow season 4 almost happening thing.
Uh-oh.
I mean, not that bad. I'm not going to say it's not bad. But I don't know, like season 3 of Flash was, again, not quite as good, and that happened with Arrow. And then season 4 of Arrow was the worst of all other seasons. And I don't know, man. I'm like, oh boy, I hope this doesn't happen this season of Flash. Like, I'm still hopeful it'll be, get really good. But I don't know, like, I don't know if there's been any episode I really liked a lot this season.
It's been a weaker season so far. I mean, I really didn't like last season a whole lot. There's a lot of episodes last season. Savitar didn't quite work out as well as I think they're hoping. So I'm hoping that this is building into something really good with Thinker. I like the idea of the 12 metahumans, running into them, some part of Big Plan. I like Ralph Dibny a lot. So there's a lot of good things. There's just been a lot more humor and a lot less drama dealing with the overarching storyline with the big bad. And that's probably feels kind of weird for normal shows.
Well, again, I think they've gone too much to comedy, and I think they just got to find their balance again.
I think so. The addition, more comedy has worked out really well for Legends of Tomorrow this season, but Flash didn't need more comedy. They always had a good balance.
In the chat, Arrow says, we need a Dibny Plastic Man episode now. That would be... We're probably not going to get too stretchy, guys, but that'd be interesting. Plastic Man's even more kookier, I think, than Dibny.
He is. And I think there used to be some kind of live action rights issue with him, I think. Or at least there used to be for a while. Some kind of issue with him.
Dibny's way cooler than Plastic Man, I think, anyway.
I think so, too. I think he's got a lot more... He's funny, but he's not, like, total goofball funny.
Because he's smart. He's a detective.
Yeah, and I hope they play that up more. So they need a detective. They need somebody to help them figure out the mystery of the Thinker.
Yeah. Although, I mean, Joe is supposed to be a detective, but not quite the same way, I guess.
He doesn't have quite the same nose.
Yeah. All right, let's do some ratings. Maximum rating is 4 lightning bolts. I'm going to give it 2.5 lightning bolts.
Oh, really?
Well, that's not that bad, man. Come on, jeez.
No, I know. That's above
Again,
average.
it was, it was pretty good, but it wasn't, I can't give it quite the 3.
I think there was enough funny, memorable moments in it for me to make it a 3. Just because of the humor. And some more Killer Frost. You know, now Killer Frost is going to play a more prominent role in the show, and that's going to be good.
That is very good. I'm trying to think now. We need Killer Frost to be in her own show if she doesn't. She could go join the Birds of Prey.
They could, I mean, yeah, they could do Birds of Prey. She could be her, you know,
Speedy,
Felicity,
Thea.
Yeah, Speedy could be in it. Thea, if she wakes up from that coma. We get Huntress back.
We get obviously, get a Black Canary.
Yeah, Black Canary would be great. That's a pretty solid lineup.
Hell yeah. Dude, come on. We're telling you, folks. We're telling you, CW. Just listen to us.
Yes, Birds of Prey. # feminism. I'm going to tweet out # feminism, # Birds of Prey.
Nice. Listeners Mate says, I was very glad to see comedy in this episode, mainly because it allowed Felicity to be more comedic than she is on the Arrow. Although I will say, I think Felicity's gotten much more back to her comedic roots on the Arrow this season, which I'm liking.
Yeah, it's good. And it was good to see her as guest star. It's great.
Yeah, she was fun. Particularly what she said. She's like, I meant take off your clothes, not your eye.
That was pretty funny, yeah.
All right, folks. So now we got 2 more shows to do. We're going to go over to Legends of Tomorrow. All right.
Don't call them heroes.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. So this is the 5th episode of Season 3 called Return of the Mack, written by Grain Godfrey and Morgan Faust, directed by Alexandra LaRoche. In this episode, the team travels to 1897 to hunt down a vampire. A rogue Sherlock Holmesy Rip tells them about Big Baddie Malice, and we see adult Eleanor Dark, who is a worshiper of Malice and brings her father Damien Dark back to life. Oh my goodness. So folks, if you were shocked last week, you're not going to believe it. 2 weeks in a row I've actually liked Legends episodes.
What?
I know. I don't know what's going on, man. I was like, I might actually start liking the show.
Are those real names for those writers? I need to look them up because they sound a lot like DC characters. Like Granny there's a Godfrey character.
Well, there's
Morgan
Granny
Faust.
somebody. There's Granny somebody in for Darkseid.
Yeah.
And then there's a Faust. There's Faust for Wonder Woman, right, or something.
Yeah, Felix Faust. Also Morgan Le Fay. And I'm just like looking at it like, what?
I have
think
seen
they
these
just got the
names.
job for the names.
I have seen the Granny Godfrey name before, so I think these are the real names. But it is kind of funny. Carrie says yes in the chat. I think he's excited that I liked Legends once again. I would actually much prefer to like Legends, so if they can keep this up, I'd be really happy. I'm not sure why they haven't been doing this earlier. Okay, so we're in Victorian London, and we have a whole vampire storyline going on here in this episode. What did you think about that?
Oh yeah, it was fun. There's a lot of humor. Mick was hilarious during it with his vampire thing. And of course we didn't, spoiler, we didn't really get a vampire, but we did get a.
Yeah, I really did want a vampire, man. I love vampires.
I would, and DC has vampires too, so you never know. We could have saw one. Maybe we will someday. But yeah, I thought it was a good storyline. They're just some very funny moments. I think it's hilarious how they they don't completely ignore race and gender statuses and times, but they kind of do, or they just don't care.
What do you mean?
It was good, huh?
Oh, in what way?
Well, I'm not sure. There would not be a female cop, even in New York, which they did.
Well, they did mention
and
that.
And I don't know about Victorian London if they had a racial segregation in cops back then or not.
Probably very rare to see, right? Anybody that wasn't white at that time.
I would think so, in that kind of authority position. But yeah, they're just kind of like.
They did address it in that season 150s episode, actually. That stuff. But that was a good episode, actually.
That is a time when they really did address it.
Yeah, but now they just want to have fun. That's fine.
Oh, they do. Well, I mean, the guy did kind of mention
it. He did. No, he did mention it, actually, so it made sense.
They just don't care. The characters don't care. They're just like, whatever. Deal with it.
I did really like that Mick was like obsessed with vampires, that he was reading Dracula. First, I didn't want anybody to ruin it. He was reading it the whole time, and he was just like really keyed up about like, yeah, I'm gonna hunt a vampire. This is great. Like,
oh, I loved it. I like it. He's like, I'm going to kill a vampire my entire life. He's got that steak and goes, how long have you been carrying that steak? My entire life. That's hilarious. There's a lot of great humor in there.
Yeah.
The whole, 1 second, 1 page left or whatever. Shut up, 1 page left.
Yeah. Which, like, there's been nothing in his history about vampires, but I actually believe that he has been carrying that his entire life.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He got some great lines and scenes in this episode. So
while they were talking to that corner guy, by the way, the Return of the Mack song going off, it was ridiculous, but it like worked. And then they brought it back during the fight. Like, I was like, okay, this is actually perfect. Like, this is actually really well done.
Yeah, it was. It was funny. That's the name of the episode. So hey,
yeah. In the chat, Lister's Mate says, I really would have liked this episode better if they would have taken a Jack the Ripper spin instead of the vampire spin. Vampires are so overdone. I was positive they were going to do Jack the Ripper based on the time frame, but I was actually okay with it because Jack the Ripper's also been done a lot. So, and then they made it seem like that when the woman was being followed. It turned out to be Rip, but like it was totally thought it was going to be Jack the Ripper. But then like that's why I call him like Sherlock Holmesy, because he was doing like all this deductive reasoning at that point. They kind of left that off after that, but that's what he was doing at the beginning.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Which was nice because Sherlock Holmes is also right around that same time. That's when he existed in fictional time. Carrie says, I like that Victor Garber got more to do in this ep. Gonna miss him. And the writers do like to write for Mick, is what Carrie says. Yeah, Mark, you've said it many times, right? You think he's their favorite character?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, and seeing Stein's ancestor was pretty funny. That stash, astonishing.
that was funny, actually. So I didn't know who she was at the time, but when I went on IMDb and then when I did some research over the character, so this is Eleanor Dark we saw in this episode, Damien Dark's daughter.
Yeah, I don't think they've actually said that yet.
They didn't say it though, right? In the episode?
No, they did not say it in an episode, no.
Because, well, first off, and also she was, at least what I read on the Arrow wiki, she was one who actually, I guess, revived Kuasa. She was the follower of Malice who revived Kuasa in that early episode this season.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking when she first appeared. I was like, oh, it must have been her.
So,
I haven't actually seen... I haven't seen that whole episode yet. Episode 2 is one I missed because I was in France and I haven't caught up on that one.
Yeah. So when I really dug her character. Like when she first came on and we didn't know who she was, and there was this whole like, oh, she's a psychic or whatever, right? But then she actually started like knowing all this stuff about Zari, and then she was channeling Malice. I was like, I really like this character is really cool. Like she's awesome. She's very intriguing and interesting. And then so like I thought she was, I don't know, like a follower, just knew Dark or something, or she was his romantic interest, but actually she's his daughter. She's his grown-up daughter. Because we saw her as a kid in Arrow season 4.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Anarchy was gonna kill her.
So I guess I was trying to read some I don't know, some kind of time nonsense is how it's. I don't think they've explained it on the show yet at all, right? How she's an adult and here and.
Well, Malice apparently can bend time, so he must have recruited her at some point.
Yeah, but anyway,
go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Kind of wonder if Malice isn't attached somehow to the death totem that Damien Dark used.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe. Carrie says, "Is she the daughter that was on Arrow all grown up?" Yes, Carrie. This is absolutely. Eleanor or Nora, depending on which episode you look at, they call her Eleanor or Nora sometimes. This is her. Yeah, this is the grown-up daughter of Damien Dark, who's super cool. Way, way cooler than Damien Dark is himself. He's been like the worst villain that have been on any of these shows, I feel.
I like the actor's performance sometimes. Like he does some good delivery, but
Neil McDonough I like a lot. He's a really talented actor. The character I think sucks. Not anything against Neil McDonough. The character is just terrible.
Yeah, and that actress is really cool because, excuse me, I'm a big fan of Supernatural, and she played a kind of a big part in last season because she got pregnant by Lucifer and gave birth to his son, and that's a big storyline now. So, and she died though because of it. So, it was kind of cool.
Folks.
Oh, sorry. Well, this isn't the Supernatural show, so sorry. And she may or may not have survived the encounter, but she was more like a good, Christian type person trying to deal with the situation and stuff. So now seeing her as this character, who's all bad and stuff, playing this role is a very different kind of role for her, and she's doing a very good job. She did a good job in both of them. So
yeah, she's great. I want to have her on the show now, our show, as a guest.
We should, yeah.
Okay, so we. Actually, all right. Let me ask you about Damien Dark. So as you know, I can't stand him. I was not looking forward to his return. And what do you think about him coming back now for Legends?
I don't know. I was not thrilled when I first heard about it. But this tie with Malice and everything, I'm gonna see what happens. And his daughter and stuff. See what happens. We'll see.
I'm okay because I actually love the Eleanor character so much. I'm okay if we have to have him to get her. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Although I'd rather just have her.
Hopefully she will continue on for a while, and if he dies, then
Yeah, let's get rid of him and keep the daughter.
Yeah. But yeah, she's a great addition. She's a good manipulator of people, and I'm curious to see what more about her powers and stuff. And Malice, of course.
That's some of the best villains, like the ones that can manipulate people and they're thinking a few steps ahead.
Yeah.
So speaking of Malice, this is basically the first time we've actually, we don't really see him, but the first time we get to kind of see him, right, through other people's bodies and get to hear him. What'd you think about him? Or her? Whatever it is.
I liked him so far. He's very evil. Her performance as she was taking on his possession or whatever was pretty creepy. It'll be interesting to see more about how powerful he is and what he is or it is. Did you recognize the voice?
No, should I?
He's in a lot of genre stuff, and I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, so I can't remember his name. But he was in. He's well known from Fringe, for example, and a lot of other shows.
Oh wait, I think I might know who you mean, but yeah, you're gonna look it up.
Yeah, because I can't remember the name.
Well, anyway, I think as you look it up, Malice actually was pretty cool. It's always fun, I think, when you got the character speaking through other people's characters as well, and he seems like
John Noble.
John Noble, yes, yeah, he was the father on Fringe of the kind of like the character, the agent. I think it seems like Malice could be a cool villain this season. Somebody very not. I don't know. Unfortunately, a lot of the villains, last season, I just feel like I don't know. They were they had some cool characters, but they kind of made them into jokes, and the Legend just did some stupid shit and just defeated them. Like this.
Legion.
Yeah, this one. Well, whatever. The fake Legion. It's not really the Legion. This guy seems like he's. I hope they do him right, because he feels like if the Legends do their normal stupid shit, this Malice feels like he's just going to kill them all.
So I would think so, yeah.
They got to be on their A game.
He killed quite a few Bureau agents, that's for sure.
Yeah. Carrie says, I think this iteration of Damien can be intriguing. Yeah, we'll have to see how they do this one. Carrie also says, I wish Vandal Savage's daughter could come back and join the Legends. I would be cool with that, too. She was interesting from the first season.
Yeah. Yeah, there've been talk about Malice being someone we knew before. Is Raisa still in the chat room?
No, she had to go.
Okay, she wrote. I think she was writing some articles about it and stuff. But my mind, if Malice is anybody that's been pre-established, I think it would be interesting if it was Vandal Savage somehow. Somehow, the weird way they killed him in multiple times, and him being immortal and stuff had created some kind of weird anomaly or something. That would be kind of interesting. Either that or Mollis is the true force, because it seems like everything's been magical so far and there's totems all involved. I would wonder if Mollis isn't somehow related magically to that as a demon or something else weird thing. So I don't know. What do you think Mollis is?
I don't know. I mean, right now, I guess I think he's just a new entity that they haven't encountered before.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm with the Carrie though. I think it could be cool. I like the daughter characters actually better than all the villain characters. So I actually think Vandal Savage's daughter and Damien Dark's daughter, Eleanor, like let's have them together. Let's have them be the main things.
And they could team up with Slade's son.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that's a good villain team up.
Yeah. They could be called, instead of Legion of Doom, Children of Doom. There you go.
That's actually not bad. That's kind of catchy.
Isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Carrie in the chat says, ooh, John Noble, who was also on Sleepy Hollow. Oh, cool.
Yeah. He played a big bad in that, too.
I only watched the first season of that. Listener's Mate says, I did like the scene where Rip froze time. I've seen that effect on other shows, and I think it's very cool when one character can walk around with everything frozen like that. That is a cool effect. You know what I forgot to mention? I don't know if it was last week on The Flash. One of the recent Flash ones, they did that time freezing thing, but it was basically, all I could think of is that they totally ripped off Days of Future Past where Quicksilver did it in the X-Men movie. It felt like, because like that's been, I think, the best version of that that's ever been anywhere. Like, they just nailed it in that movie. But anyway, yes, it is a very cool effect. I agree. Like, it's always fun to do that.
Yep, it was a cool effect.
So
cool little ability. And we're seeing...
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
And we're seeing Rip follow a certain character pattern now. When he was so obsessed and making really weird or bad choices with Vandal Savage, he's kind of doing that now with Mollis. Yeah,
he's definitely got this quest and obsession with him. I kind of like that, though. Like, I'll be honest with you. I kind of like that Rip is like really like, dude, this is what we got to do, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to take this guy down. And I'm going to break the rules and whatever. I think I was actually rooting for him. It was a bummer that he got taken by the Time Bureau, right? Is that what they're called? Time Bureau?
I think so.
So I'm not sure exactly how that... Because like he said he started it, so I figured he was the head, but I guess that other guy is also a director, so they're like, kind of like co-directors or something of the Time Bureau. The guy who
creates a kind of bureaucracy, like council thing, and it's working against him now.
Yeah.
When you create an organization, just make sure you're in charge of everything. Okay.
Right. Kerry Johnson in the chat says Mollis will wind up being future Barry. God, I hope not. He said,
oh man, could you imagine? Ooh, what if he brings back to life Savitar?
If he's what? If he's Savitar or
no? If he brings back because he's bringing back people to life, right? Apparently villains. If he brought back Savitar.
No, we don't need any more Savitar. Well, it could be interesting, I guess.
Or Zoom.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Might be interesting.
Did Reverse Flash die last year in Legends? Or
I think so.
At the end? I don't remember.
Right?
Okay. Well, if not, they can bring him back too.
Those different versions, and they stopped him, and I think they killed him, right?
Yeah, with the spear. I
don't think he even really killed him. It's like it got
oh no, the speed demon type thing he caught up with him.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So also in this episode, we got some Azari's backstory. We got actually some very stuff about her brother and how she felt she abandoned him, and that was some pretty dramatic stuff. What do you think about
that? It was good. So far, they've used her character really well in the show. We talked about that on the Phone Home episode. I think they've done a really good job with it. I just feel like her background with Argus going evil might have a bigger story connection to the bigger picture. Maybe not. And I think it's cool that they have this bond with the totems with her and Vixen. So that's cool to explore that. I don't know. She's a cool character. She's an interesting character because she feels almost like a normal person, but not exactly. So she can give us this every person kind of view, but also we see different perspectives we don't normally see because of her dystopian setting, and also because of her and that background and tragic background, and also that she's a Muslim. So we get some of that different religious viewpoint that we normally don't see on television. And then this totem that we have yet to explore very much yet.
Yeah, she's easily my favorite, I think, right now of the core Legends team. I mean, Mick's really good too. But yeah, I mean, right, she's kind of like, she's not doing all these goofy things. She's just acting like a normal person because she hasn't been around them before. And
just wait, give her a year.
No, see, don't ruin her. And it's nice to see like they're all eating certain things that she's kind of like, I don't know, like eating the stack of pancakes or whatever junk food she can get, right? Because she didn't have that. Yeah, you know, I guess it's okay, the thing with her and Vixen. I kind of almost would want her power to be on its own thing rather than having to be connected, but I mean, that could certainly work.
Well, there seems to be a totem theme here with Mollis, because we got the one of the Vixen line, that woman who came back, she's got the water totem. And then they brought back Damien, who had this, I guess, death totem. So that seems to be a theme right now. So I'm curious to see where that takes us.
Yes, you're right. That's a theme. In the chat, Carrie says, by the way, the other Time Bureau guy was Principal Kwan on Smallville. Oh, you're totally right. Good call, Carrie. The other director guy.
Oh, yeah. He's been in other stuff, too. He's a good actor.
Yeah. Actually, there was a question in the chat earlier about Firestorm. Will he become one person? I mean, I think it has to be, because Victor Garber's leaving the show. So I think they're going to definitely have Jax just be Firestorm on his own, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be he's on his own, or they get somebody else to be the other half.
But we probably would have heard about that by now if they were some new character joining.
Unless it's Zari somehow. That'd be weird, though.
No, because she got her own thing. Yeah, she's got the thing with Vixen, the totem.
Yeah,
it would be interesting, though, if it's a girl. That would be, like, you know,
you have a psychic connection. That would be awkward. Could be awkward at times. But yeah, that's in the comic books. They've either had him be solo, or he's and I say he generally because it's been different people. He's got, you know, they swap out different people to be that. I think they've even had it before where there's been more than two.
Oh yeah, I've seen 3 before.
Yeah, I think it's been 3.
And
before.
one of them was like 2 guys and a girl, I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. So that's something, you know, even if they make him 1 right now, next season, if they decide they could do something that causes it to be 2, you know, who knows? There's some flexibility there.
Mm-hmm. In the chat, Carrie says, Zari, Agent Sharp, Morgan Edge, and Dibbs are neck and neck for best new characters. I'm with you, man. Those are all good characters.
What if that bureau agent woman you just said, whose name I can't remember?
Ava Sharp?
Yes. What if she became the other half of Firestorm? Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be, well, because she's one of my favorite new characters as well. I agree with Carrie. She's awesome. By the way, that actress is Jess McCallum's going to come on our show. She's agreed to come on our show, so there's some.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome.
So we're going to have Miss Ava Sharp in the future here on the show. So you can ask her that. You're like, hey, you want to become part of Firestorm?
That's what I'm going to ask. That's one of my questions right now.
Right. Just like you did not, though. You didn't ask Carl about if he's the Martian Pope.
I did not. I didn't know. I don't know.
No, it was a good call.
Do you see your character as the Martian Pope? Yeah. So yeah.
So anyway, yes.
Mitchie Stein, he did a good little Son redemption or Son thing for his child in that one scene. That was good.
He did. Yeah, Listeners may mention he got to sing. Listeners made it say, but it wasn't Deo. Yeah, thank God. Oh, that was.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't that be funny if that was a lullaby for the
kid? Yeah. Or it would be actually really funny if he started singing "Return of the Mack." That's a lullaby.
Yeah. I feel like that's not really his.
That would be hilarious though, because it's not his style at all.
No, it would not be his style of music, I don't think, for the character.
Listeners May has a very intriguing idea in the chat. Firestar might merge with Gideon. He could fly her better that way. That would be very interesting.
That would be.
Because I want to see more of android Gideon or whatever you want to call her.
I think you see Gideon's head just like appear where only he can see her, and she's talking to him and stuff. Because they used to do that all the time for Firestorm.
Comics, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Firestorm. I hate to see that actor go. I hate to see Stein leave. But it makes sense. It actually makes a lot of sense for the character at this point. Yeah, that reminds me. The short-term memory loss was really funny for that character. Remember?
Oh, yes. That was...
He's constantly, what's he doing here? What? It's constantly forgetting things. That was pretty funny.
In the chat, Carrie says, "Hot damn!" Which may be a pun on Firestorm or maybe about having our guest on. I don't know, but I'll take it in anything.
Oh, and they got the nice vampires don't sparkle line in there. So.
Yeah, wait, who said, because one of the characters said they wanted it to be like Twilight, right? And then Mick says there's something they don't sparkle?
Yeah, I don't remember who said, was it Ray?
I think Ray might have said that. Like, oh, of course it's going to be Ray.
It'd be Ray, of course, you know. If there was a vampire musical, he'd be like, I wish it was like that.
Yeah.
Musicals are cool.
Musicals are cool, actually. I like musicals.
Oh, they are. But, Ray loves them.
And Carrie likes Lister's main idea about Gideon and Firestorm merging. I like that idea, too. That's a good one.
That's interesting, yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, if Legends keeps this up, man, that'll be pretty good, actually, man. They got 2 in a row now that I'm happy with. So, and they got some cool characters that I think, like Eleanor Dark, and Malice, they could do some cool stuff with. And Zara.
Yeah. This has been a good season so far. They found the right blend of comedy and action with the show, I think, so far, and I think it's on the right track. Hopefully, it stays that way.
It's funny, 2 episodes ago, all I was thinking was like, God, I want to stop watching the show. I don't want to have to watch the show anymore. And now, after these 2, it was like, okay, I'm okay watching the show. Well, that might go downhill very quickly again. We'll see.
You never know. But so far, so it's good. I thought season 2 was better than season 1, and I think so far the season's it's a whole nother level compared to the previous seasons.
All right, so we're going to give it a rating out of 4 Gideons. I'll give it... Last week, I actually gave 4 Gideons. I think that's the best one they've done. This was not as good as that, but still very good. I'll give it 3 Gideons.
All right. I'm going to give it 3.5 because it was pretty funny. But it was not as good as last week's. Last week was funny and had a lot of heart. And it just had a lot of different things going on. But this was a good episode.
All right. Carrie says, off topic, but Amy Pemberton, she plays Gideon, was in an ep of Scorpion. She was fantastic as a morally ambiguous MI6 agent. Cool. Scorpion's one of those shows, yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. It does look pretty cool, though.
I've seen a few episodes. Not too bad. There's just so much TV, though. Yeah. we got to watch the CW. CW DC.
That's right. Okay, so our last show of the night is Supergirl.
Hashtag feminism. Sorry. This is episode 5 of season 3. The name was Damage, written by Eric Carrasco and Cindy Lichman, directed by Kevin Smith. There we go.
So there you go. He was in Vancouver at the time then.
Yeah, so he's in the area, because I think he just did a Flash episode not too long ago, right? I don't know. Anyway, so this episode,
I may have been wrong about that. I may have been thinking of this episode. I don't know. Yeah,
it could be. Yeah. Children are falling ill from lead poisoning, and Morgan Edge claims it's because of Lena Luthor's weapon she used against Daxamites last season. The investigation to prove the cause, they investigate to prove the real cause, if it was that or not, while Lena fears she has become unknowingly evil, following in her family's footsteps. Meanwhile, Alex and Maggie say goodbye. So this is where the weeper cries.
Right.
So even though this was the B storyline of Maggie and Alex and Maggie, it was pretty a tearjerker. It was very believable and very well done. As everything, this relationship is probably the best relationship I've seen any superhero TV show ever do. So, even though with Alex, I was kind of like, not so sure I buy the whole, I'm actually a lesbian at age 30 or whatever she is. But besides a little rocky start for her character, that relationship with her and Maggie has been done perfectly, and it was very sad to see it end. What'd you think?
Agreed. Actually, I mean, I actually liked it from the very beginning. I actually thought it was done totally fine with her character coming out. I liked what they did there, and yeah, I mean, this relationship has been, for me, the best thing about Supergirl, at least last season. I agree with you. It absolutely is the best relationship that's ever been done on a superhero show. Yeah, I mean, it was a bummer to see it end. So it was, I also agree, it was handled very well. It was very believable, well written, very well acted. I mean, those two always do a very, really good job together, those two actresses. I guess for me, see, and normally I actually cry a lot, to be honest with you, at those kind of like emotional scenes. I didn't hear, I think the big thing is I knew so much in advance that it was happening. Like, we knew over the summer, at least, that she was leaving, Floriana Lima was leaving the show, and that the relationship was going to end, or maybe even by the end of last season we knew. I don't know, I forget exactly when. So like I knew it was happening. So I guess for me, like, that's one unfortunate thing about today's age, and that we know everything that's going on. I kind of wish to go back before the internet sometimes, and when I didn't know anything and like everything was a surprise, which I still try to do. I can't really do it so much when we talk about these shows every week, obviously. But yeah, I mean, like, I think if I didn't know, if like I had no idea she was leaving the show, it really would have hit me. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? They're breaking up. But I knew it. Like, so for me, like, it was like, yes, it was really well done, but I didn't get that sad about it because I've already I've known it forever now. Yeah.
It was a very believable reason. That didn't make either one of them seem like a bad person or anything. It's a common issue with relationships, especially when you're getting married. That can become an issue. And they weren't like hating each other or anything. They just kind of said goodbye, and so yeah, it was very well done. This whole relationship arc was great. Pretty much, they're never going to have as good a thing ever.
Oh no!
So they're just doomed. Don't even try relationship arcs anymore. But it was a really good one, and really good for TV. Period, and above and beyond anything for superhero television. No matter what gender, LGBT thing doesn't even matter. Just in general, the relationship was just well done. So
absolutely agreed. Yes, the writers and actors and everybody involved should be very, very proud of that. Yeah.
Especially, and then we got that episode Maggie a few episodes back with her dad. So now you're just like, oh, really? I already liked her, but now I like her even more. But now I know.
Oh, you're right. She just had that big thing with her dad, and now she's. Oh man, that's sad.
I know. And that's good writing, because a common issue when you as a writer know that character's going ahead of time, you tend to have this tendency to want to downplay them a lot because you don't want to. Because sometimes you get hurt. Because if you build up this character, it bothers you to know you're building up a character who's going to be gone. Sometimes it can if you're not careful. And so a lot of times you just don't. They sort of downplay them until it suddenly happens and they're gone. Or sometimes they downplay them and then like the episode they're gone, they just make it super awesome episode about them before they die or whatever. But they did a good job, like really making her a strong character still through this season, knowing she was going to go, which makes it that much more emotionally powerful when she does go for us. And if we didn't have the spoiler, it would have been even better, maybe more powerful.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm with you, man. I don't think they could have done this any really better than they did. And it was like you said, it was the perfect reason for why they split up. I don't think there could have been a more like reason why they would have. A better reason to choose.
Nope, that's a good one.
And yeah, all right. So there you go. Yes. So it was sad to say goodbye to. What did Carrie use last year there? Sandvers. Goodbye to Sandvers.
Sandvers. Yeah. Goodbye, Sandvers.
Hey, you never know. Maybe one day she'll come back.
It's possible,
Maybe on the finale, maybe when Supergirl finally ends, they'll bring her back for the last season and they'll get married finally.
Maybe. She'd be like, hey, I changed my mind.
Wait, why would she say it like Rocky Balboa? I changed my mind. That's what you sounded like.
Mind. She's been doing pro boxing while she was gone.
She got into MMA and boxing. To take her aggression out and being so sad.
Yeah, So, but yeah, hopefully, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be interesting to see who she eventually gets in a relationship with after this.
I don't think they should. Like,
well,
at least they should give it They should give it quite a while before they have her with anybody else.
Well, they should give at least the rest of this season for sure.
The rest of the season, absolutely.
But I mean, if your whole point is I want to have kids, and then you break up, and you never find anybody else, that's kind of depressing. Because then what was the point? You got to find somebody to have kids with at some point. So you got to fall in love again at some point.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I would like at least the rest of the season to kind of honor that, how important that relationship was.
Yeah, I don't want another common thing that writers do when they know a character's exiting is they'll introduce a new character. It takes on a similar role at the same time almost, or right after. Yeah. And so hopefully they don't do that.
And they've kind of done that with Kara, which has kind of been the problem with her and her romantic interest, right?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Lister's mate in the chat says, the 2 rings on the table signifying that the relationship was over was very effective. That was, yes, a very closing shot there of that.
Yeah.
And the Hall House in the chat just says nope. Okay, nope to what? I don't know. We've been talking about so much. Tell me what that's to.
Nope. Martian Pope?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Martian Pope? Nope.
Nope.
And also in the chat, Carrie had said, Katie McGrath was awesome in this episode. Great addition to the cast. Yes. I like Katie McGrath a lot, and she's really cool as Lena.
Yeah. This was a good episode for her, too. We're focusing a lot on, the B story.
Yeah, you want to talk about Lena?
Yeah, let's talk about Lena and Morgan Edge and all that good stuff. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good episode because she hasn't really been in a ton, at least the last maybe couple, I think, because they were on Mars and there was other stuff, and there was the religious one, right, which was really good ones. But so it was good to give her like a spotlight episode. It was good because it kind of brought up obviously her past, trying to get out of the Luthor name, showed that obviously. It's a good storyline when you think you've done something really noble and saved the whole city, and you've learned that maybe actually your actions had really horrible consequences.
Yeah,
I like that she didn't try to hide from that. She actually stood up and took the blame for it right away. She said yeah, I might have done this. And then obviously we got to see her go through a really, really kind of almost a depression, at least or a mini one, where she was in a bad state anyway, at least for a brief period of time over it. Trying to deal with that. And I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was good character arc or character journey for her, and her giving in some of her darker impulses by wanting to shoot Morgan Edge.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so she was about to give in some darker impulses there.
Wait, what happened there again? Did she just stop? Did somebody stop her?
They
knocked her out. They knocked her out, yeah. And then tied her up, yeah.
So, it was good to see her go through that, and still know there's a little bit of that dark side in her that she might be just one crisis away. A dark side. She might be just one crisis away from, from embracing for what she thinks is the right reasons. You never know.
But you're right. I'm glad you brought that up with the gun, because I think, again, they are hinting at her going to that darker side at some point.
Yeah. I think if she faces a situation where she doesn't feel like she can solve it through heroic, means, that she has a tendency to want to go there. That could put her in its direct, conflict with Supergirl. There's also, they had a little thing with her relationship with Jimmy. So there was a little Jimmy in there, and Jimmy taking a bullet.
Yeah, this is better. This is a good episode for Jimmy, actually, I think. He's kind of standing up for what he believed in. He had some good stuff. And then obviously by the end, actually, Lena and Jimmy are kind of actually getting along finally. For some reason, they've had them fighting since the beginning of the season, or at odds with each other.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me what you think about this. I feel the very end scene with Lena and Jimmy was 100% hinting at a romantic relationship between those two.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I totally.
Yeah.
The way she said it. First off, the fact that she called. By the way, he's always said on this show, I want to be called James, not Jimmy. Only Superman calls me Jimmy. because he's set in his ways. He said that first season. This is the first time he's ever said to someone, "You can call me Jimmy," which I like because he is Jimmy Olsen. I think that's what he should be called.
Yeah.
But he lets her call him that, and then she said, I don't remember exactly, but the way she looked at him and said something about, "Okay, Jimmy, I'll see you later," or something. I don't know, man. I was like, oh, shit, man. I think they're totally... Like, they just went from... They're like, oh, they were arguing because it's kind of like the boy and girl in school. They're arguing because they really like each other.
Could be. Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of romantic entanglements for a while.
Neither has she, except that one past guy who... Last season, from iZombie.
It won't work out. Yeah. Because Lena will kiss him and then go, "Oh, this is too fun."
Like, Carl was right. You're a terrible kisser. You know what? I'm cool. I actually would kind of like to see a Jimmy Lena. I think that could be good.
That would be interesting. Yeah. I think there's possibility there. We'll see what happens.
I'm calling it here, folks. I'm calling it. But they're gonna.
But what would that be? What's that shipper name?
Lemmy. That's terrible. Gina. That's not very good either.
Juther?
Lolson?
I don't know. You guys tell us. What do you think their ship name should be?
So, by the way, in the chat, Carrie says, going back to the Alex thing, word is there will be some Alex and Sarah flirting in the crossover. Oh, God, I hope not. No.
Oh.
So, Sarah from Legends, he's saying,
yeah.
And Alex, obviously.
No one can resist her, though. That's the thing.
See, that's such... I gotta... here's the thing. I used to love Sarah on Arrow, but, I don't like really what they've done with her in Legends. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily be against them getting together, but again, no, that is way too fucking soon. The crossover is about to happen in like 2 weeks, and we just had Maggie and Alex break up. See, that's...
I don't think they'll get together. It'll be just a little flirting.
No, but I don't want it. There shouldn't be flirting. I mean, Sarah can flirt maybe, but Alex should not be reciprocating that. I just feel it's disrespect. That's a disrespectful thing to do. We just said about this is the best relationship that we've ever seen, right? And again, you got to then honor that after the fact. And it's disrespectful to have your character like, "Oh, hey, Sarah, how you doing? Yeah, ooh, oh boy, you want to take me in your time ship?" Whatever kind of nonsense.
Hopefully it's better than that.
Yeah, I know. It won't be corny like that, hopefully, but it shouldn't happen, period. I hope that's not going to happen.
It's a little soon, but maybe she'll flirt with her and she'll be like, "I'm flattered, but I've just got a relationship, so it's too soon," or something like that. Who knows? It'll probably be just something really quick.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're right. They do. Sarah has to flirt. Like, she even noticed as they walked by in this episode of Legends, one of the prostitutes, she gave her the eye. I was like, ooh, which was fine. Like, I get it. But, like, seriously.
She's like the lesbian Captain Kirk. That's what
she is. Or the lesbian James Bond.
Or James Bond, yes.
Yeah. But see that, but again, that's, James Bond doesn't totally work for me because he doesn't, until some of the more recent ones, he doesn't ever, like, focus on one woman. He doesn't care who he's with. And that doesn't really, I can't empathize with that.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about Morgan Edge. What do you think so far of his villain?
I think he's good. Yeah, I mean, I liked him in the first episode. I mean, he's, I think he's good. I like Adrian Pasdar, the actor. He was on Heroes. I used to watch him.
Yeah.
And, he's one of those slimy, conniving guys. Thinks he can do whatever he wants. I don't know. They may be getting a little too cliche, possibly, with him. I feel that's a danger. I don't know. I felt like the whole thing about getting the other guy to do it and framing him was a little too neat and easy. I mean, I bought it, but I don't know. Yeah, he's good, but I guess I think they got to be a little careful, not to fall into.
He's not quite. Maxwell Lord was a little bit better.
Maxwell Lord was amazing. Oh, I so miss him.
Yeah, so he's not quite on par with that yet. I mean, he's definitely a very competent villain, but yeah, he's in danger of becoming kind of a cliche type villain. But we'll see. See what happens. Maybe he'll get some dark side going on.
Oh boy,
a little inner gain.
So I see we're going to talk about Rain here, right? So speaking of that, Carrie in the chat says, I think one thing that served as foreshadowing for me was when Lena asked Sam if she'd be so nice to her if Ruby had gotten lead poisoning. It makes me feel like something will happen to Ruby to trigger Rain. Interesting.
Good. Yeah, I think she'd lose it if something happened to her. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with her character yet. I mean, she's figuring out quickly that she has powers or something going on. Like she had that bullet.
Yeah, at the end, right? She realized she had gotten shot.
Like, oh, oops. So I don't know. I mean, we there's promo pictures of her in costume, but she might try to become a superhero at first. I don't know what's gonna happen. They're definitely taking her. They made us really interested in her and her daughter, and her relationship with the other characters in a way that I wasn't expecting. So it'll make it really interesting if she ends up, fighting against them and that how that happens and everything. So
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, she's very likable, which is cool actually.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's going to be like some kind of sleeper agent thing, like she just snaps and she gets the powers, but it changes her personality, or
it could be
changes her thinking somehow. I don't know.
In the chat, Lister's Mate says about Morgan Edge, any person who would get kids sick and near death to frame someone is the ultimate form of a villain.
Yeah, he's pretty
he's really bad.
He's a really bad villain.
He's a bad dude.
Yeah, he makes Lex Luthor look nice.
That's not easy to do.
No.
One thing, Ray said tweeted this, I think, maybe last week or so. She had a theory, I believe, that when Sam becomes Rain, that Alex may wind up almost adopting Ruby or taking care of her as that mother role. That was very interesting, I thought. Because she wants kids. Yeah,
and that would make a lot of sense. Especially Rain ends up dying at the end or something of the season or something. Because she's a good actress, that the daughter is. So it would be interesting to see if she would adopt her. Kind of like how her mom adopted, Supergirl.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, so I don't know. That would be an interesting choice to make. But I just have no idea. I don't know what they're going to do with this character. It's they're going down a route that is not as predictable as you might predict.
Which is great, though. I love it. I love not knowing where they're going to go.
That's the way to do it. So I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy. Like, Supergirl is so good this season.
Oh, yeah. It's a big improvement. And there's still a little bit of politics mixed in there, here and there. But it's much more subtle than it was.
Much more. All right. Anything else about this episode?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So we do this maximum of 4 capes. What do you give it?
3 capes.
Yeah, I agree. Not quite as good as the other ones, but the other ones have been so good lately. But this I think, is a solid 3 capes episode.
Oh, I mean, the last 2 were just like they were
out
up
of the
there.
park. Yeah.
Best of all the seasons.
They were the best of the best. Yeah.
This one was really good, and I guess the Maggie Alex scenes definitely propel it a little bit more too. But yeah, it's just not quite there yet.
Speaking of best of the best, hey, folks? Did you know Marx was an extra, right, in one of those best of the best martial arts movies?
I was, yeah.
Which one? 2, 3?
3, yeah. Best 3.
Did you say you were just in the background, or were we actually getting? You didn't get the fight, right?
I didn't get the fight. No. So I was in the background.
Were you a spectator?
So, spectator, yeah.
I wish you could have been like working a bag or something in the gym or something. Or doing
I was pretty young back then. Very young. I lied about my age too. So.
Were you underage?
Yeah, I was underage. So I lied.
Would you have to be 18?
Yeah, ideally they wanted 18. I was under 18, so I fibbed. So.
What were you? 16? 17?
I don't remember, but maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Wow, they really great security they have there, I guess, checking IDs.
Or 12? Who knows? I don't know. I don't want to age myself.
He's like 5 years old.
It's 5 years old. I'm 18. It's like the Thinker. He could be a supervillain baby. We don't know.
Wait, what?
The heroes don't.
Oh, the heroes, yeah. Oh, that's right. That was one of the lines, right? That's right.
Yeah.
That was a little funny because they were like, oh wait, actually that could happen.
But yeah. So
all right.
Love martial arts, so gotta be in a martial art movie.
Me too. All right, so folks, I guess that's going to do it for us tonight. Again, big thanks to Carl Lumbly for being an awesome guest. If you didn't catch the beginning of our show, go back and watch the interview with Carl Lumbly, who's plays Merton Jones.
I'm telepathically telling him thanks.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure he got it. Oh, he just tweeted me. Yep, he says, you're welcome.
Oh, okay, good.
Anyway, he plays Merton Jones on Supergirl. And, of course, he was an Alias and not Laverne and Shirley, Cagney and Lacey. Sorry. That was another show, though. And, yeah, he was great. Thanks to him. Hey, we got some other cool guests coming on, folks. Next week, I know. So, yes, we are having David Nichol on next week. He had to cancel a few weeks ago, but he's going to be on next week. He plays Anatoly in Arrow. And then the week after that, November 26th, Amy Gumanek, who plays Cupid, will be on as well. Sorry, I had on a different screen. Were you doing different actions for those characters? Is that what you were doing? I didn't know. A little bit. Yeah. Okay, good job. So yeah, we'll be excited to talk to them. And like I said, we got other cool guests coming up. Lily Stein, actress, the Ava Sharp, so Jess McCollin, Christine Brucato, they're going to be coming on. So yeah, keep tuning in, folks. And please, if you dig our show, if you like the guests we're having on, please tell your friends about us. Invite them to come watch live, or if not, just watch it in post. We obviously, we're trying to get more viewers, and that would really help us out. And we would definitely love it if you can spread the word. And also tell them about our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/supergeekedup. Any amount is super helpful. We really appreciate it. And if you go to supergeekedup.com, if you don't want to do Patreon, there's also a PayPal donation link where you can give any one-time amount you would like. And that's also where you can catch all our other shows. Like tomorrow, Marx, what are we doing?
We're playing Dungeons and Dragons, World of Eberron, our Super Lawn campaign that's coming to a close soon.
That's right. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I think probably like tomorrow and one more, I think is going to wrap us up, actually, for that over a year and a half campaign just about that we've been doing. So you can check that. And yeah, all right. I think that'll pretty much do it for us tonight. Oh, sorry, Marx, of course. Let me share your links. You can catch him at marxpyle.com where he does co-hosts Genretainment, a really cool podcast. And of course, you see him on a lot of stuff on this channel, like right now.
Yeah, right now.
And he writes novels and does all this, and you can see all his writing stuff on the site too, and cool stuff. All right, so there we go, folks. Thank you very much for watching. We always appreciate it. We will hopefully, maybe some of you will see tomorrow, and then hopefully the rest of you we will see next week. And again, we're gearing up for the big Earth X crossover coming up. So yep, there you go. So we'll be talking about that in the near future. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, thanks very much, guys. We will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.